Welcome to GripeCast with your host, Alex Hernandez. This show is dedicated to consumer technology news and pop culture. GripeCast is owned by Techaeris. Visit Techaeris.com for the latest tech reviews, news, entertainment, and pop culture. Now sit tight, the show's about to begin. All right, welcome to the least listened to podcast on the internet. It's GripeCast, episode 11. Yes, I am still on vacation, hence the background here that you can see if you're watching. If you're not watching, then you're just listening. So you see nothing, but you hear my voice. And hopefully that sound quality has gotten better. I didn't bring all of the equipment that I use at home. There's space reasons for that. So, been kind of playing around with some stuff here with a new setup here. I'm working on a MacBook Pro laptop connected to my iPad Pro so that I can see my OBS broadcast on this side. And then I have my iPhone 15 Pro Max sitting up here as the camera. Initially, episode 10, I used the MacBook Pro's built-in HD camera, but I didn't like the way that looked, so I went ahead and decided to switch over to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I think that this camera angle is going to be a little bit better. So hopefully, episode 11 here is going to be a little bit better in terms of video quality and audio quality. And the craziest thing, I left the house. I have DaVinci Resolve installed on this laptop. And I've used DaVinci Resolve consistently on this laptop as well as my Mac Mini at home. And when I went to edit episode 10 on DaVinci Resolve, it decided that it wanted to ask me for the product key. And I did not purchase DaVinci Resolve online. I purchased the actual SD card with the actual physical product key, and I did that because I wanted it physically with me. And the funniest thing is, before I left the house, my DaVinci Resolve product key and the SD card that holds the actual program, it was on my desk. I had installed DaVinci Resolve on the Dell XPS that I'm using to test, and the craziest thing is that I had a thought of bringing it. I'm like, I should bring that with me. And then I didn't. And then DaVinci Resolve decided that it wants its product key verification. So it wouldn't let me use the program. So I had to switch over to LumaFusion, which is a lot less robust than DaVinci Resolve. And I've only used LumaFusion a few times, and that was years ago. Bought it a long time ago. So I was able to shoehorn it. I was able to get it to work and function. Heck, I decided let's just try a different setup this time for episode 11. So I got some different gear here. If you're watching, you can see I have a new background. You'll be seeing different backgrounds from time to time, depending on if I feel like I need to change it up. I didn't like my previous background, so I changed it up. Did a few tweaks and did some changes. But hey, it is Saturday, May 11th. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Happy Mother's Day to my wife and my mom and my mother-in-law. And my sister-in-laws, and happy Mother's Day to everyone. And we appreciate you. We love all you, and moms are the best. And take care of your moms. And one more thing before we jump into the podcast, we're going to do an entertainment podcast this time. Like I said, I want to kind of break things up once in a while. I do a lot of tech. I do a lot of Google. A lot of that kind of stuff, but this time around I'm going to do another entertainment-based podcast, and hopefully better than the last one. I know that I had some issues with volume on the last one, and we'll be doing some more pausing on this one so you can hear me talk when I need to talk. we're gonna get through it, guys. I promise you, we will get through it. But I wanted to shout out Emerson, my little buddy Emerson. Hey, I know you're listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thanks for supporting the site, and thank you for just hanging in there with us. So hey, let's jump into it. I wanted to jump into, so we're going to do some entertainment stuff. We're going to cover the new Beverly Hills Cop 4 trailer. We're going to talk about the Twisters. And we're also going to talk about Peter Jackson's latest foray into the Lord of the Rings with this Hunt of Gollum movie that was just announced. And I'm just going to give you my thoughts on all this stuff. But what I wanted to kick this off with is the Northern Lights. Now, guys, I'm gonna be playing a video here in the background if you're watching. There will be no sound on this one, but it just has some good visuals, interesting information. But the Earth's been hit with several solar flares. The energy from the solar flares, basically huge eruptions, huge explosions on the sun. They're reaching the Earth, which is normal, but these I guess were quite larger than normal. So here he has the level 1 KP5, KP6, KP7, KP and KP9, and they have a kill shot, what he calls a kill shot. KP9, I think we hit a level 5 KP9, and what that means is there's a potential of disruption of electrical devices and infrastructure. Kill shot means that it's like an EMP. It would just completely blow out everything. It would knock the grid down. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But more importantly, solar flares, this type of solar activity is normal, and but obviously this level I think they said something like 20 years. It's been 20 years since we've seen something this big. But what was cool about this incident, about this situation, is that people were able to see the Northern Lights as far down as Alabama, and we are down here in Alabama. And we took a couple trips out last night. Normally we have the kids in bed pretty early, but we took a couple trips and try to drive to certain areas down here to see if we can see the Northern Lights. Unfortunately, we did not get to see what a lot of other people got to see last night. The chances of tonight having another event are there, but I don't think is great. So we might make another attempt. But anyway, I know that in Missouri they were seen, and I know up in Chicago they were seen. I'm originally from Chicago, and now we reside in Missouri. So my kids were a little bit disappointed that we couldn't see the Northern Lights while we were on vacation. But that would have been a 2 for 2 right there. That would have been great to see. We got to see the total solar eclipse in totality. So that was a great event to be able to experience. And I wish we'd have been able to see the Northern Lights. But comment below. Let me know if you guys got to see the Northern Lights where you are. And what'd you think? Pictures. Share pictures if you got them. But yeah, we're disappointed in that one. It would have been great to have seen that. It would have been fun. And I'm also very happy that we didn't get EMP'd by the great solar ball of fire up in the sky. But rather cool if you get a chance looking at YouTube channel here, Suspicious Observers. But he's got some pretty interesting videos about solar flares and solar events and other things like that. So well worth watching. Check it out. I'll link it below in the show notes. But anyway, onward. Let's move on to, I'm going to make this one short again. Again, I'm on vacation, so I don't want to take a whole lot of time recording and editing and everything. Trying my best to get through these. I want to keep pushing content out to you guys. I know you guys are enjoying these podcasts, and I want to keep making them. So we're going to do that as often as we can. So, but while I'm on vacation, I also need to make them short and quick. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, coming to Netflix. Beverly Hills Cop. Now, this is if you guys are all familiar with, and I know you Gen Xers like me out there are very familiar. You know that Eddie Murphy made a lot of movies in the 80s. He was one of the biggest stars of the 80s that there was out there, and there wasn't a movie that I didn't like. I'm sure he had his few duds that I probably didn't enjoy as much as the others, but man, he made some great films. The Beverly Hills Cop series, 48 Hours, Trading Places, Coming to America. Well, I think that might have been in the 90s. But at any rate, he, of course, his live comedy, Raw and Delirious, both excellent pieces. But he's back, and he's going to do Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F. And I think the man is probably in his late 60s. He's not a young buck anymore. And so it's going to be interesting to see this. I don't know. I mean, I have mixed feelings on this. I posted on social media a while ago talking about this. I don't particularly enjoy it when they remake these movies, or come out with more sequels. And this is not called Beverly Hills Cop 4. It's called Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. So they're trying to keep away from the numbering, I think, but I don't know if that's going to help it. I'm going to play the trailer, and we're going to take a look at this together. And if you're watching, you can watch. If you're listening, just take a listen in. I'll pause when I need to pause, if I need to pause, so I can comment if I feel like I need to comment. So let's take a look. Let's take a look, excuse me. Not a lock, I'll take a look.
I almost admire you. Still on these streets, running uncut.
There's Kevin Bacon in there, and I also love that they're still using his Detroit jacket, which is iconic for Beverly Hills Cop.
Just amazed. Doesn't get to you. Watch your ass out there, okay? I'm gonna be fine. They love me in Beverly Hills.
And Paul Reiser's also in it, which I enjoy Paul Reiser. And I love it. I love Eddie Murphy, man. I've always thought he was one of the great comedians of my time. So he was a little bit crass and dirty, but he was definitely funny.
Detective Foley, you ever read your own files? Shootouts, start of the piece, a lot.
Please tell me you didn't get arrested again.
Twice, but I broke out.
We put our lives on the line every day. And for what? Comes with the job if you're doing it right.
Yeah, babe!
Axel.
So how many people have you pissed off so
I
far?
haven't pissed off anybody.
And look at the return of Taggart. And man, I can't remember the partner's name. But wow, Taggart's showing his age, isn't he? Wow, a great actor though, and he was great in their first few movies. And even Eddie, Eddie's showing his age. I gotta say it, and no offense to Eddie, but man.
Yeah, 50-50. 50-50.
Is it that high?
So far?
Wow.
All right, well there you go. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, coming to Netflix, only Netflix, which probably. I don't know that that's going to be a positive for the film or a negative, to be honest with you. Theatrical release may have not went over well, so that's possibly why they're only doing a direct to Netflix release. Honestly, I'm not that impressed with it. I feel like we don't need to rehash old characters, old movies, and try to freshen them up. I think Axel Foley would have been best left as an icon. But who knows? I might be wrong. People may love it. I don't subscribe to Netflix, so I won't be watching it unless someone I know who has Netflix, by some chance, we end up watching it there. But if it's not on a theatrical release and it's not going to come to any other streaming service, then I probably will not see this movie. And I don't think I would choose to see this movie even if I had Netflix. So what do you guys think? Is Beverly Hills Cop Axel F look good to you, or should they just let sleeping dogs lie? But that brings us to Twisters. I mean, Twisters is the next film, or another version of the original Twister, which was with Helen Hunt and Bill Pullman, I believe. Excellent movie. Oh, I love Twister. I don't know if anybody else loved it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed. What I loved about Twister is it's one of the first films with really great in that era, with really great special effects and practical effects. They did a really good job, and I thought it was excellent. Still love it. I watched it with my kids not too long ago. So let's pull up. This is the official trailer 2. This is the second trailer from Universal Pictures on Twister. So let's take a listen to this one. I've actually not watched this yet, so we're going to watch it together. Let's take a look.
Once-in-a-generation tornado outbreak continues across Oklahoma.
We've never seen tornadoes like this before, and we need your help.
No, I don't chase anymore.
Kate, we can save lives.
I'll give you 1 week.
All right, fellas. We got PhDs from NASA, FEMA, and Kate, she's the smartest person I know.
Hey, dudes. This is interesting. Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it!
Scared of nothing and I'm scared to death.
Our crew is not like your crew.
I can't breathe and I catch my breath.
We don't need PhDs and fancy tech. Sometimes the old ways are better than the new.
Well, you can always trust a guy who puts his face on a t-shirt. Are those fireworks?
Yes, ma'am. You got quite the reputation, city girl. You think you can disrupt a tornado?
In theory.
All right, I got some issues already. I mean, they're making it very similar, very close to what the original movie was, but they're adding a little more flair, I would call it, if that's the right terminology for it. Probably some unrealistic, fireworks into the tornado. The cowboy guy over here is a little more suave, a little more of a jerk than the other guys in the original film. They kind of made it more, I don't know. I don't even know what term I'm looking for, but as of this viewing of this trailer, I'd rather watch Beverly Hills Cop, to be honest with you. So let's keep going with the trailer.
But in the field, in the moment, I got it wrong. We never had a chance.
You want one?
Are you seeing this?
We got twins! Twins!
They're combining.
Oh man, I feel like this is a scene for scene remake. I'm not digging it. Not digging it, guys. I don't know about you. I'm not even gonna finish this trailer. So the effects, fine, okay, they look great from what I can tell, but man, maybe too much. I liked the original. I liked what they did with the effects, and I like the acting and the script. This feels generic. For lack of a better term, just feels generic. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Let me know what you think of Twisters. Is that something you guys are going to watch? How do you feel it holds up against the original? I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. Let's move on. Let's move on to Peter Jackson and talking about Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis return for Lord of the Rings: Hunt for Gollum, coming in 2026. This is a big deal. Coming off of Amazon's Rings of Power, which was pure garbage, and of course The Hobbit, which was not perfect. Lord of the Rings, the first 3 movies were perfect. I mean, those movies are iconic. Everything from the script and the acting and the special effects, practical effects, the color grading of the movies, choreography, just everything was a masterpiece. And then we got The Hobbit, which I know that Guillermo del Toro was originally slated to direct that, and I don't remember why he backed out, but it ended up Peter Jackson came in because they asked him to come back and take over the project. But I felt like Hobbit, while the movies are great and I love them too, I don't love them as much as Lord of the Rings, but they're good movies, but a little bit overdone on CGI, and 3 movies was too much for that story. That story you probably could have gotten away with. He probably could have done 1 movie at 3.5 hours, or split it into 2 movies, 2.5 hours each or 2 hours each. So I think the 3rd movie was a bit overkill, but certainly The Hobbit was better than Rings of Power. Rings of Power, like I said, is just hot garbage. Should have been thrown out. But Peter Jackson, Andy Serkis coming back, return as Lord of the Rings: Hunt for Gollum coming in 2026. I have Nerd of the Rings queued up here, and we're going to listen to Nerd of the Rings talk about it a little bit, and I'll pause and I'll chat about it just a little bit and see where he goes with this and kind of give you my thoughts about the whole situation. Let's listen to Nerd of the Rings. You can catch him on YouTube.
Well, it's the huge news of the day, everyone. Peter Jackson is returning to Middle-earth. Now, this news comes some 14 months after we found out that Warner Brothers would be making more Middle-earth films, and today we just got the first domino to fall, and that is that Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens, the Oscar-winning trio behind the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, are returning to produce this next film in the Middle-earth world.
Now, I guess my thought on a new film revolving around Tolkien's world is why? Why do we need it? What is the story? And does it stay true, or is it a story that Tolkien himself told? Because if we're getting a whole different story written by someone else using Tolkien's characters, I'm not in for that. I'm willing to give this a shot and give this a chance right now because Peter Jackson and Serkis and others involved in Lord of the Rings are involved in this project. And that right now is the only thing that gives me hope. Because as of late, studios, and we know that studios have been screwing things up left and right. So I'm not sure that this is going to be a good thing. But I have hope because of Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis. So right now I am in the camp of let's see what happens. But let's get back to Nerd of the Rings.
Now, we discussed this at length and talked about all kinds of implications, throwing out ideas on what other stories might be told, what this story might be. That was during an epic live stream that we had this morning, right after the news dropped. So if you want, you can check out that conversation. But I wanted to give you a little bit more digestible and concise news breakdown from everything that we've learned today. Now, this news comes some 14 months after we first discovered that Warner Brothers had secured the rights to make more Middle-earth movies. That agreement, of course, coming between Warner Brothers and Middle-earth Enterprises under its new owner, Embracer Group. And we got our first big bit of news about this new slate of films from the quarterly earnings call that Warner Brothers Discovery hosted this morning. In that call, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav confirmed that Peter, Fran, and Philippa would be returning to produce the new film and would be involved every step of the way. In this call to investors, he goes on to say, Lord of the Rings is one of the most successful and revered franchises in history.
No lie. No lie there. And I'm glad the studio recognizes that, and hopefully they will remember that. Hopefully the executives, the producers, the film creators are going to recognize this and make sure that they create something true to what Tolkien's vision is. And not only that, please don't give us a different story. If there's a story to be had and it's Tolkien's story, that's what we want. We want nothing more, nothing added to it. Just as Jackson did with Lord of the Rings. He gave us the story. Now, I know that there are people out there who weren't too happy with Lord of the Rings because there was a lot missing. There was portions of the book missing from the films. But with 3 movies, especially, like, we watched the extended versions. I have the extended versions. And there's a lot that could be added to these movies. There was just no way for Peter Jackson to be able to get all that information into 3 films. But he didn't add anything that wasn't there. So that's what I'm hoping for this. I don't know about you guys. I'll link Nerd of the Rings down in the show notes so you can watch the rest of his video. I'm going to stop him here because I don't want to take up his entire video. He deserves to get some clicks there. Make sure you check out his site or his YouTube video. I'll leave the Beverly Hills Cop and Twisters, Nerd of the Rings, and the Northern Lights link down below for you guys to check out. All right, we're going to call it quits on this podcast for the day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Make sure that you take care of your moms. Do your thing for your moms and for your wives, and enjoy your weekend. And we're going to enjoy our rest of our vacation here. We got another few days here, and then we'll be heading back on home to Missouri. Hope you all stay blessed. Take care of yourselves, and we will talk to you on the other side.